uh, the McDonald's bags, Chaz Coleman, things like that. Maybe not so good in the national media, but things like this, obviously very good in the national media. But going to the social media post, the four kind of key graphic designs on the jerseys that they, are trying to highlight off the most. The interlocking UT, which was worn by the 1951 Vols and pulled from a photo of 1952. This baseball-inspired UT nods to Nealon's first love and playing days at Army. And I think the UT interlocking one is cool. Obviously, you see this in baseball the most. This is, one of the hats that you wear have the interlocking UT in some of your alternate jerseys that you wear. But I think this is really cool to incorporate into football. Obviously, you have it on the jersey, and then you have it also down on. They have it on the arm sleeve in one of the orange arm sleeves that they have, and then obviously down on the pants on the bottom you have it. But I think the interlocking UT is a pretty cool look.
Oh yeah, I love the interlocking UT. That's why I liked with the baseball where the black interlocking UT. That's
Yep.
probably my favorite baseball hat that we wear. I wish we would incorporate it more across all the other sports. I know baseball uses it quite a bit, but I wish we'd have a helmet with it on it. Personally,
Yeah, I mean you don't really see it at all in basketball,
no.
obviously. And then I think football. I mean, I think like you said, having a helmet like that would be cool. I mean, obviously the Power T is such a national, you know, brand and recognizable figure and logo. I think that's why you kind of stick to the Power T on everything. But I think the interlocking UT kind of logo when you're doing some type of retro throwback stuff like this, I think it's cool. The second one is blueprints. So these are going to be up on the shoulder pads. You're going to see kind of the highlights of Neyland Stadium, and something that you can kind of see in the oldest section today. And it says Neyland served in the Army Corps of Engineers and used the same vision to help grow Shield Watkins Field into a cathedral of college football. The shoulder feature blueprints from 1948 expansion, details still visible in the stadium's oldest sections today. So again, this goes back to his days at Army, and I think this is a really cool homage to him as well of what you can still see in the stadium there. And I think this is also cool to put on the jersey. Obviously, the whole thing here is kind of it's the Neyland jersey. You're paying homage to General Neyland and what he did, whether it was at Tennessee or throughout his career at Army. And so I thought that was really cool as well. You know that he was the reason why you have the checkerboards in the end zone right now. Obviously, the checkerboard was up on the hill, and back in the days when there weren't as many buildings on campus, when he was coaching here, he would tell the players run toward the checkerboards. And then obviously, years later, we have the checkerboards in the end zone because of that. But I think the little intricacy up there of on the shoulder pad of the blueprints of that stadium, I think that's probably, in my opinion, maybe the coolest design of this entire jersey.
Yeah, I think the just honestly, there's so many little different parts of this uniform that you can look at. Like you could probably look at it all day and still just keep finding little intricate little details. But yeah, obviously the checkerboard is going to be incorporated to every single Tennessee uniform that we ever do. It's just any sporting event, any stadium, any uniform is going to have some iteration of the checkerboard somewhere. And I I like I really like the sleeves. I've seen a lot of people say that the sleeves look weird with the stadium blueprints. I really like the stadium blueprints. I think they look really cool.
I think they look good too. I think that's like you said. I mean, there's so many different interesting things about the jersey, but I think that's one of the more cool ones. Going to the helmet, you have the leather helmet, a callback to Tennessee's earliest days on the gridiron. This leather style helmet also features a star on the back for Neyland's rank is the Brigadier General. His signature and stenciled UT complete the bumper. So I think again, pretty clean helmet. I mean, maybe not my favorite helmet on earth, but I think it looks pretty clean. It fits in with the rest of the jersey. I like the way that the orange and the gray is kind of incorporated there. You get obviously the tri or the star kind of on the back, and then you get the UT on the front, and then you have the Neyland patch, which is the iconic images of Neyland. Neyland served as the cast for his on-campus statue, now the centerpiece of the new Champions Corner Plaza. The patch is his famed pose and features his signature. So I think that's a cool pose of kind of his silhouette there, and kind of another way adds to the intricacies of everything that you've seen here. But again, I mean, a lot. This is kind of jersey rollout season. I know Texas Tech, they released their jerseys. I believe they're blackout jerseys, and they got flamed by college football Twitter today because they had Mahomes right up above the visor. It said Mahomes, and people were kind of wondering why they had that on, a helmet 10 years after Patrick Mahomes has played there, basically, why his name is still there. But, I think that the Tennessee jerseys overall, they look good. I still, in my opinion, they're not my favorite gray jerseys that we've had, but I think they're better than last season, in my opinion. Even though I like the message behind last season and the troops and for the military and everything, I just thought they missed the mark on the design a little bit last season. But I think the design of these is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common stance. I personally, I really liked the uniforms last year. I've liked all of the Smoky Grays that we've done, except for the obviously it's the historic aspect of it. But I wasn't a huge fan of the Artful Dodger iteration that we did with the orange sleeves and then the gray rest of the two tone. I know we do two tone. The Nike ones had two tone, but it was just a different shade of gray. But that's probably my least favorite is the Artful Dodger. I would say this is probably my second favorite behind the TriStar one, the one we wore against Austin P, I think it was, where it just said Tennessee across the
23.
chest. Yeah, that was probably my favorite iteration of them.
Yeah, the Curry ones in 2023, those were cool, but that's kind of a game you want to forget on the ropes with Austin P in the first half. Obviously, you end up winning the game, but that was I remember I was at the Florida State. I don't even remember who they were playing. I think it was Florida State versus Southern Miss. Went down to Tallahassee that weekend with some buddies, and we were tailgating outside of Doak Campbell going into the FSU game. And my buddies knew I was a Tennessee fan. They all know I'm a Tennessee fan, and I was keeping up the score first couple drives, but I mean I wasn't too worried about it. It was kind of like the one game where I was like, I'm gonna go have fun, let loose in another game, not worry about the Tennessee game too much. We're playing Austin P. We should be able to take care of this. And my buddy's like, Austin P, Tennessee's only up on them by about 3 points right now going into halftime. Oh boy, is what I said after that. But
I had the displeasure of being at that game.
Were you at that game? Yeah. I know you've told me you've been at some of the not so fun Tennessee games over the years.
If you can think of, if you picture the worst Tennessee game in your life, home game wise, I was probably at it. Like Georgia State, BYU. I was at the Wyoming game when I was 4 years old when Philip Fulmer got fired. I was at the Appalachian State game.
Were you at the Georgia State game?
I was at the Georgia State game.
It just shows that you're a true fan, though. You've been through the thick and the thin.
Yeah, so. I've been to both Alabama games too. So
yeah, well, you've seen the highs and the lows in Neyland Stadium.
Absolutely, I've seen every single low and some of the highs.
Well, more highs to come. Speaking of what you said about Alabama, though, because we were not on the air yesterday, so we didn't get to discuss the Tennessee-Alabama home and home. I guess you could call it home and home. Both teams are going to wear their home jerseys for the 26 and 2027 seasons, as Alabama will don their crimson jerseys. Tennessee will don the orange ones in Knoxville and Tuscaloosa. And, I mean, this is the first time you've done this in, I believe, 50 years, around 50 years. What was it, 1970, I think was the last time that this was done. So 50-plus years. I think this is really cool. I think more rivalries should adopt this. I think that this is pretty awesome when you have the color coordinations like this. I'm about as big as a fan as you can be that it's going to be orange versus crimson, hopefully for the foreseeable future. Hopefully they just keep it going because, I mean, I feel like if you do it for the next couple seasons, why would you stop when you go into 2028?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm as big as a fan of this as big of a fan on this as I can be. This is something I've always wanted them to do. I never ever thought they would do it. But yeah, this is super cool. And it's kind of weird seeing other fan bases being like, oh, we should do this too. And then I saw some Ohio State, Michigan people say, oh, we should start doing this now too. Tennessee's been doing this they played this rivalry for 100 years. Way. So like this isn't just a thing where you're like, oh, both teams want to wear their color. Like, no, this is a historic thing that a lot of people do.
Well, I think that's what's cool about it is, we always talk about all the, hoopla that goes on in college football now that's not exactly stuff that you like to see. The transfer portal going crazy, the $4 or $5 million NIL contracts, coaching carousel roulette. I mean, everything that happens in college sports, stadium prices through the roof, everything about college football, as much as I love the sport, it still will always be my favorite sport. There's definitely some things about the sport that are not in a good place. And I always talk about the tradition of college football is why, even with all this stuff that happens in college football, why it's better than the NFL. Because in the NFL, you don't get the bands and the cheerleaders that you get in college football. You don't get the guy that's been going to Neyland Stadium for 65 seasons as a season ticket holder. You don't get the fans that tailgate on G10 or the fans that tailgate at Circle Park for the past 40 seasons. You don't get, the Greek life that you get on school. There's so many things that you get at a college campus that you don't get in the NFL. And traditions of college football, as much as anything, or what's better than the NFL. You don't have fight songs in the NFL like you do in college football. You don't have the alma mater like you do in college football that you have in the NFL. That's what's cool about college football. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what political party you fall in. If you're a Tennessee fan and you're sitting next to another Tennessee fan, you're going to be you're going to be friends with them for the next 3.5, 4 hours in the stadium. And that's what makes college football better than the NFL. That's why the NFL will never be able to compete with college football. And I think when you get the traditional stuff like this that goes back to the 1970s, you're just doing things right, because college football, they got to stick to the roots of tradition. That's what makes college football great, and stuff like this should be celebrated. And I agree. I think more teams should pick stuff up like this.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I like, when you do look at it, like the more I look at it, they don't seem similar when you first initially think of it, but like I feel like the more you look at it, the more kind of similar they look. The red and the orange. I mean, they are.
Mhm.
I mean, they're right next to each other on the color wheel. If we want to
Yeah.
get super scientific about it, I like. I might be overthinking it. It's probably not going to be an issue for the next 2 years, but I don't know. I feel like if there's some interception problems or something, this is going to backfire on somebody real quick, and we'll never do this again.
Well, if Keelan Russell, thinks that DeJuan Lane is Ryan Williams, or if he thinks TJ Metcalf over the middle of the field is Latsier Brooks, that could be good for the Vols this season. Now, we just got to make sure that George McIntyre or Faison Brandon don't think that he's throwing to Braylon Staley and he's actually, throwing to Bray Hubbard. But I don't think that I don't think that it'll be an issue, in my opinion. I mean, like you said, I mean, they are kind of close, obviously close on the color wheel, and red and orange. I mean, kind of close, but at the end of the day, like, it's the crimson is obviously like slightly different than red, and then like Tennessee orange is kind of like a brighter, I guess, if you will, orange. So I feel like there's not going to be too many issues there. But I mean, I just think it's really cool what they're doing here. And I know you talk about like Michigan, Ohio State, the game. Doesn't BYU and Utah do this? I feel like they've kind of color rushed where they've done straight red and straight navy. Yeah. Can you think of any other rivalries that have? I feel like USC and UCLA maybe have done it, like the light blue and the USC kind of Trojan.
I'm sure a ton of teams have done it back in the day.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think recently. I mean, there's so many rules obviously now with like the home and away jerseys of what you have to wear and stuff, and I'm sure that they had to go through some type of process obviously here to make sure that this was going to be allowed. But I mean, like we said, it goes back to, it hadn't been done since 1970. That was what, 56 seasons ago. I mean, there's so many things that you could take from college football in 1970 that should be reapplied right now that would make the sport better. I mean,
USC and UCLA have done it.
Done it
recently.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, I think the Michigan one would be cool if you had like, I mean, them obviously wearing the maize colorway, and then you have Ohio State, because usually
a lot of Michigan people don't like that maize colorway.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your team color. Like, yeah. I feel like, I mean, I don't know.
I just think it's hard to beat the all navy look for Michigan.
Yeah, I think that one's good too.
Such a clean uniform.
I like their white ones though too, with like the gold kind of outline on the jerseys. I think those look good.
One thing I will say, Ohio State has a really nice shade of red that they just never use.
Yeah, well, that's the scarlet. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like Oregon State and Oregon maybe have done this before.
Civil War.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Oregon's wearing like their whites, and Oregon State's wearing the orange ones. Maybe not. I don't know. A&M in Texas would be cool. Like if you had the burnt orange and then kind of the Aggie.
Like burgundy almost.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool one. I think there's a lot of, I think the color rush is pretty cool. I like when teams color rush like that, and I think it looks good on the field. I mean, it's just simple. That's something about jerseys back in 1970. I mean, even jerseys back in the 90s and early 2000s, like they were just so simple. People didn't walk around with the arm sleeves and 19 wristbands and all kinds of stuff on the helmet. You just went out there and played football. You put your shoulder pads on. You had your team jersey. Put your knee pads on. Went out. Your white cleats, black cleats, whatever you have, and you went out and played. I mean, now you see guys that wear like yellow and pink football cleats or yellow and pink basketball shoes. Why? Why are we doing that?
I think sometimes it can look good if you match it to the colors really well. Like I know a lot some of the Alabama players will wear those like lime green mouth guards,
Yeah.
like the ones that hang. I think those look kind of cool. It's like when who was it for the Braves that would always wear it was Acuna.
Yeah, he's big into
green.
that. Yeah.
Like I think if you make it if you match it well, I think it can do good. Like a lot of teams, like I think if you have like an all white like stormtrooper uniform and you wear like some pink cleats, like I think that kind of looks cool. But that's coming from somebody who always wore super loud shoes when I played sports in high school.
Well, that's fair, but I think part of the reason why it's done so much too is because like all the signature shoes that kids wear in high school, whether it's like Kobe's, KD's, LeBron's, whatever you're wearing, like a lot of those have pretty loud colorways. Like I remember when I played basketball, back in middle school and early high school and stuff, like some of the shoe combinations that you would see would be absolutely outrageous that people wore. You'd have like a team that's, I don't know, blue and white, and some kids got on like lava red basketball shoes to go out there and play. It doesn't necessarily fit, but I guess you get to show your the thing to me that makes me laugh is the DBs that have like 3 mouthpieces hanging down from their helmet.
That's been started recently. There was somebody that did that. It was like one player that started doing it, then everybody started doing it.
I like the arm sleeves. I think the arm sleeves look pretty cool. But like, I mean, that's the one thing that you just see in sports now that you didn't see back in the day, like accessories that people wear. Like people didn't wear arm sleeves and people didn't wear, they didn't dangle the mouthpiece from the helmet. That didn't exist, 25, 30 years ago. It really didn't even exist until probably like late 2000s. You started to see it a little bit. And then as you've gotten into the 2010s and 2020s, the accessory pieces have just exploded on jerseys. But I think you got to be the type of player that can pull it off too. I think visors too, like the darkness tint on your visor. Sometimes you'll see DBs and you're like, how on earth do they even see out of their helmet? It's so dark.
Yeah, that's got to be like they have to get like a prescription for that.
Yeah.
They're only allowed like a certain amount of tint on their visor because I think it's something with concussions. They got to be able to see into the eyes.
Yeah. Well, I know TJ Metcalf, he wears the super dark tint on the visor. I think it looks cool. I feel like if you see a DB that has the tinted visor, like that means that guy's about to submit some violence on you when he tackles you.
Well, I mean, every time you see a uniform reveal, the model wearing it's always got like a black visor.
I think part of that too is sometimes they don't want you to know who it's wearing it, but I don't know. Maybe not. Basketball, obviously, there's no way to hide it. Baseball, there's no way to hide it, but you can hide it in football. On the other side, we'll preview the big high school football matchup in state tonight where there's going to be multiple Tennessee commits on the field. 8 p.m. tonight on ESPN2. We'll break it all down on the other side. Stick with us. Overtime.
Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
For over 3 years, Crumble Cookies has served the Knoxville area. From Clinton Highway to Parkside Drive, even our friends out in Maryville have reached you, our fans, with the best cookies in the game. This fall, Crumble is gearing up for yet another fantastic season. Whether you're tailgating or looking for a pick-me-up after getting the kids from school, Crumble has you covered. Download the Crumble app to check out this week's rewards and features. And stop on by. Tell them Fan Run sent you, but don't miss the cookies.
Is your crawl space damp, musty, or showing signs of mold? Call S&D Crawl Space and Insulation. From crawl space encapsulation and mold remediation to waterproofing, insulation, and dehumidifiers, S&D helps protect your home from moisture and poor air quality. Serving Knoxville and surrounding areas. Call 865-602-0590. That's 865-602-0590. S&D Crawl Space and Insulation. Protecting your home from the ground up.
Golf Envy Farragut is the premier indoor golf experience you've been looking for. And right now they are offering a limited number of founding memberships. Golfers can reserve their spot for just $150 before their September grand opening. Founding members receive 90 days of unlimited guest passes as well as an exclusive risk-free first month. That's right, try out Golf Envy with no obligation. Give it 30 days, and if it's not the right fit for what you're looking for, your first month's dues will be refunded. Members will get access to their Golf Zone 2 Vision NX simulator technology, the most realistic simulator on the market, where they can play more than 300 courses and compete in leagues and tournaments with players all across the country. Golf, rain or shine, 24/7, 365. To learn more and become a founding member, visit their website at farragut.golfenvy.com/presale.
All right, back here on Overtime here on this Thursday afternoon here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We appreciate you hanging out with us here today. As a reminder, however you're listening to us, get active on the Fan Run, Fox Sports Knoxville social media channels. Subscribe, like, comment. Make sure you're doing all that so you get all the great content coming up this fall as we're getting closer and closer to football season. And however you're listening to us today, make sure that you can comment down below on the YouTube or the Twitter chat. We'll get to your comments and questions throughout the show. But moving in now into this high school football stuff tonight, DGG and Baylor playing host to a Brentwood Academy team that's going to be really good too. Keyshawn Bowman and Kenneth Simon II, both Vol commits. They'll be on the field tonight with DGG. I think DGG obviously will be, the main show tonight just because of how good he is and getting to see him on national television. But a guy like Keyshawn Bowman's going to be interesting because Brentwood Academy's starting quarterback, Cruz Jenkins, he's committed to Ole Miss. He can throw the ball around the field. So I think it'll be interesting to see what him and Bowman can do. The QB wide receiver duo there, DGG, and then obviously Kenneth Simon over on the defensive side of the ball. But two programs that obviously, have had a lot of history. Brentwood Academy, obviously where McIntyre went. Baylor's had plenty of athletes come through here at Tennessee. Not just football, baseball. I believe Henry Ford, who was on the team this season, obviously they came over from Virginia. He went to Baylor. You have multiple guys on the football team right now that attended the Baylor school. But obviously these are two, real deal football programs within the state of Tennessee, obviously within the private school ranks. But this is, like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of high school football. I'm not from the state of Tennessee originally. I didn't live here until I went to school here. So I'm not in tune to the state in as much as I am with the high school football back home in Georgia where I'm from. But I do know, obviously, the Baylor school, what they have to offer, and I know what Brentwood Academy has to offer. And I know, obviously, these teams are going to be loaded with some D1 talent. And anytime you get to see a high school game on ESPN2, a nationally televised game on a Thursday night, you know that it's going to be the real deal. So, Caleb, is this going to be a game that you're going to be tuned into tonight to see what some of these future Vols look like?
Probably not tonight. I'm not really a big high school football guy. I'll probably check the stats after the game to see how DGG did. But I grew up here in Knoxville, so I kind of know what the big schools are. Or I know you got Catholic, and then you've had Walter Nolan. I heard a lot about him when he was coming out of Powell. Then obviously Deshaun Bishop went to Carnes. That was just right down the road from me. So I know about the big names from high school football, but my high school didn't have a football team, so I was never super big on the whole high school football ranks. I know a couple of my friends that I went to school with, they transferred out of my high school to go play football at some bigger schools, whether it was Powell or like Halls or something. So not super big on high school football, but I mean, I'll check the stats after the game to see how DGG played.
Well, you saw obviously Baylor. They went down and they played that scrimmage. What was that? Last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago when DGG was the first play of the game. Broke some tackles, went however far, 80 yards for the end zone. But
didn't he rush for like 300 yards?
I think
against Brentwood?
Yeah, he had. He had some crazy games. I'm trying to look his stats back up. Last season, he had 20 touchdowns, which ranked 4th in the nation. He had 1,749 rushing yards.
Good Lord.
He had, and that was in 10 games. So he was averaging 170, basically 175 yards on the ground per game.
It's running clock, is it not?
I believe it is. And he also last season, he had like 10 yards per carry, right? I mean, I remember obviously
over 10 yards. Like 10.4.
That was one of the stats, obviously. And to me, when you're talking about a running back, like yards per carry, you're going to be like yards per carry and yards after contact, when you're
two biggest stats.
Or the two biggest stats, because you can say someone had, however many rushing yards, but like if they had 300 carries and the other guy had the same amount of yards, but only had 200 carries, the other guy is probably the better. Obviously, some teams have better offensive lines than other teams and whatnot, but I think Kewan Lacey was a really, really good running back last season, but he also got 300 carries.
Yeah.
If Isaac Brown or someone like that would have had 300 carries, they probably would have, they definitely would have eclipsed the number that he was at. So, obviously, Kewan Lacey, I'm not saying that as an example of that he's not a good, he's, you can make the argument he's the best running back in the country coming back. I'm just saying that if you get 300 carries and someone else only gets 215 and they both have similar yardage for the season, that's not really one and the same. So, I mean, if a guy's running for 10 yards per carry in a high school, I mean, it's a first down every time he gets the ball in his hands, essentially.
Yeah, that's an absolute insane stat line.
And then did you see the videos last week where they had him working out and he was just putting up absolutely absurd numbers in the weight room?
Yeah, I mean, dude's like when you somebody like him, you don't even you look at him, you're like, you're not even you're not human. That's not he's what, 17? Is he 17 or is he 18?
I think he's 8. He might be 18 now, but he was. I think he was. Maybe he is 17. I don't know if he's 17 or 18.
Is he a senior? He's a senior.
He'll be a senior this year. Yeah.
So he's probably 17.
He might be. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously he's from Canada, came down, so I don't know if he's a true 2027 or if he's a kid that should have graduated high school in 2026 and moved down a year. I'm not exactly sure what it would, but obviously no older than 18, and he's still putting up those stats. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And then also I'm looking at
catch up with
Keyshawn
all
Bowman
things
from last season. He had 49 catches for 665 yards, 11 touchdowns, and as a sophomore had 56 catches for 1,023 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, 56 catches, 1,000 yards on 56 catches. That is, let's see, 1,000 divided by 56. That's 17 yards, almost 18 yards per catch. I mean, those are some real deal stats too. Like I said, their quarterback, Cruz Jenkins, out of Brentwood Academy, he's committed to Ole Miss. He's obviously a really good quarterback. So, I mean, it seems like there's going to be some pretty good offense in this game tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we want to go down the rabbit hole of insane high school stats, I think Derrick Henry had 70 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had something ridiculous. And Leonard Fournette, I mean, he was banned from playing middle school football. I think he was banned from playing high school football maybe his freshman year because he was just so good and he was so much bigger than anybody else. He was hurting people. Now, in my opinion, that's about as soft as it can get. Someone so good that they ban him from playing high school. I mean, what are we doing? But I mean, DGG is putting up similar stats to the guys that you've listed. I mean, I'm not saying that DGG is going to go on to be the next Derrick Henry. I mean, no one knows how good he's going to be. He obviously has a ceiling to be that, but
we're not saying he's not going to be.
We're not saying he's not going to be that, but we're also not going to sit here and say that, you never know. I mean, I think DGG is going to be a really, really, really good player at Tennessee. I think DGG is probably going to be one of those guys that could play a year in college and then he'd be good enough to go to the NFL. Obviously, he has to stick around for 3 years, but I mean, he just seems like he's one of those guys that, I mean, he's putting up numbers. Obviously, his 40-yard dash this season what was Williams saying? It would have been top like 10 in the combine this
It would have
year.
been like top 5.
Top 5 in the combine. And obviously the numbers that he's putting up in the weight room, I mean, those are NFL numbers that he's putting, probably even more than some guys are, probably more than most running backs in the NFL are lifting.
Yeah. It's probably in the top half of what NFL running backs are putting up. Because, I mean, when you think of running backs, I mean, not every running back is out there squatting 450, 500 pounds. There's a lot of running backs that are a lot smaller, faster, more nimble guys. So if you factor those guys into it, but if you factor just power guys, he's probably in the, I'd say at least top half.
Man, I just hope he doesn't ever hurt himself lifting too much because his body's still developing at that age.
Joints are still catching up.
I mean, obviously, like for video, like that's cool. Like, I mean, it got me hyped seeing it. I mean, watching a kid, whatever he was doing, squatting 500, benching. I mean, the numbers he was putting up are stupid. I mean, it was ridiculous what he was doing, but at the same time, you just don't want to see a kid, whose body's still developing, try and bench something that he can't bench and end up hurting his back or something and getting an injury because he was trying to lift too much. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm sure the people that are at the Baylor school that are in his ear and helping him work out and stuff obviously know what they're doing, and he knows what he's doing too. But, that's just something you got to watch out, until he gets on campus and he gets within the strength and conditioning program at Tennessee. You're already so big. Like, he doesn't need to get any bigger in high school, if that makes sense of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think his like, just the way his body looks, he looks like he's been lifting with Derek Owings for the last 4 years.
I mean, he's shredded, and what he asked for the workout book that basically the team used from Derek Owings, I believe, on his visit. He wanted to kind of get ahead and figure out what he needed to do. DGG is not going to be the type of athlete that you're going to have to worry about being at Cool Beans on Friday night or, Friday or Saturday after a football game. This is probably going to be a guy that Tennessee wins the game. He's going to be back in the weight room after the game ends. And those are the type of players that you want on your roster. Those are the type of athletes that you want on the field. And I mean, we've talked about the Derek Owens effect over the past, over the summer and how impactful it's been. And you've seen with Deshaun Bishop. I mean, Deshaun Bishop was a pretty big dude last season. Deshaun Bishop looks massive.
He is an animal.
I mean, he looks like he is an absolute freak show this year. I mean, you see what he's doing. I mean, what is DGG's like physical ceiling?
I think at this point, just looking at him without performance enhancing drugs, I would say he's pretty close to that. As far
pretty
as
close to maxed out. Yeah.
How big you can, obviously you can always get stronger, but like your body has limits on how much muscle you can put on. And obviously the amount of muscle you put on it's almost never kind of just fully adjacent to how strong you are. I mean, there's big guys that are weak and there's small guys that are really strong. It's just like, it's mainly genetics thing, but looking at him now, if I just saw that dude walking around, like if I just went to the gym and saw him walking around, I would think that he was probably juicing. But obviously, he's 17 years old. If he was juicing, it would probably not be the greatest for his long-term health. So I don't think he's on any of that.
He is 18 now. Was born June 27th, 2008. I mean, how crazy is that? A guy that was born in 2008 is going to be playing college football for Tennessee next fall.
Yeah,
2008.
Well, that's when Faison's in 2008.
Is he? I thought he was in 07. Is he in 08? I guess 08. He is, because he's 18. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I said that to my dad the other day. I asked him if he felt old because I'm in 04, and when I tell people that, they'd say that makes them feel old.
Yeah, he's 5'11". He's listed at 200. But again, I mean, like you said, I mean, if this guy walked up, I mean, if you were someone that followed sports like loosely, and like he walked up to you on the street, and some guy was like, "Yeah, he's actually, he's a running back for the Tennessee Titans," you'd be like, "Yeah, that checks out. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, he's in the NFL." Probably wouldn't think junior in high school that started his senior year this fall. That's that jacked already. It's just absolutely incredible what kind of body type the kid has already. But I mean, I'm excited. I'll definitely tune in tonight. I don't know that I'll watch the entirety of the whole game, but I'll definitely get some eyes on it and watch it because they'll be coming on kind of right when we're going off the air. So I don't know that I'll catch the first quarter, but
I had a professor. One of my professors today was talking about it. So
really,
it's must be. I knew nothing about it until today.
yeah, it's gonna be a big one. I mean, it's on ESPN. I'm trying to think, like, most of the time, like, the ESPN games are like Matter Day or like someone out in IMG.
Yeah.
I mean, to get two schools in Tennessee like this, I mean, I don't even know that that's ever happened. I mean, maybe it has, but I'm not sure that you've ever had two Tennessee schools playing each other on an ESPN network.
Yeah. I've only ever been to one high school football game in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, I was PAL and Catholic my senior year of high school. So that would have been 2023.
Interesting.
Or I guess no, it would have been 2022 because I graduated in May of 23. So,
well, on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit. Braylon Staley, as he was named, is the Moonshine Mountain Cookie Monster for the 2026 season. The problem is some of the Cookie Monsters over the previous seasons, their year hasn't gone so well after being named that. We're going to make sure that Braylon Staley breaks that streak and talk a little bit of the wide receiver room on the other side. Stick with us. It's overtime.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Is your crawl space damp, musty, or showing signs of mold? Call S&D Crawl Space and Insulation. From crawl space encapsulation and mold remediation to waterproofing, insulation, and dehumidifiers, S&D helps protect your home from moisture and poor air quality. Serving Knoxville and surrounding areas, call 865-602-0590. That's 865-602-0590. S&D Crawl Space and Insulation, protecting your home from the ground up.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Football season is all about winning game plans, and here at Knoxville Smiles, we believe that your smile deserves an all-star game plan too. Whether it's a routine cleaning, whitening, or restoring your confidence, Knoxville Smiles has the experience to keep your smile in championship form. Don't let dental pain blitz your game plan. Call Knoxville Smiles today and schedule your appointment, because a healthy smile is the ultimate home field advantage. Call 865-539-1776 or schedule online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
All right, back here on Overtime here on Fan Run Radio. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Thursday afternoon. Going to get into Braylon Staley as he was named the Moonshine Mountain Cookie Monster for the 2026 season. You might be asking, Garrett, what the heck is the Moonshine Mountain Cookie Monster? I actually asked myself that earlier too, and after a little bit of research, the local company will give free cookies to Vols fans after Staley scores a touchdown in a game, continuing the 6-year-long tradition. First of all, have you ever heard of this?
You weren't familiar with the Cookie Monster?
No,
I love the Cookie Monster.
Really, I've never.
First one was Alontae Taylor.
Yeah.
Then I don't know who.
Then
it was
you had Tillman.
Then Max Gilbert.
And then you had McCoy for 23-24, and then Gilbert. But that was the concern that was on social media today was
Alontae Taylor was the only good one.
Alontae Taylor was good. Tillman obviously had his injuries plague kind of the end of his collegiate career.
Let me change that. Not good. The only one that didn't have something detrimental happen to their season or career. Two of them were not in their control. One of them we won't talk about on there.
Yeah, McCoy obviously dealt with the injury bug. And then Max Gilbert,
You don't have to say it.
Well,
okay.
We all know what happened in the Georgia game, and we all know what happened in the Illinois game. He missed some kicks he should have made. It's all right. Max is in Arkansas, and I think it's all Tennessee's nightmare that kid somehow kicks a game-winning field goal against us this year. But we're not going to let that happen, though.
Alontae Taylor had the situation too, where he got that pick six in Kentucky and hurt his knee.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was. I'm not going to say he claimed it wasn't during his dance, but a
lot of people speculate that it was, though.
A lot of knee movement in that. A lot of side-to-side knee movement.
You just hope Staley avoids injury is all I'm going to say with the Cookie Monster list, because the wide receivers on this list, most of them have been injured. And I don't understand it, though. How was Max Gilbert? How did they award, he couldn't score touchdowns?
I think it was every field goal he made. So after the Georgia game, we didn't get too many cookies.
That kick, man. I'm not trying to
replay of it today on my Twitter, and I was like, why am I seeing this right now?
I don't try and hate on the kid or anything. He had a high field goal percentage at Tennessee. By all means, he was a good kid, but got to make that kick against Georgia. You're the kicker. You got to be able to. The craziest thing about that kick was, I was in the student section obviously for that game, and we were sitting on probably about the 30-yard line.
It's exactly where I was too. I thought it went in.
Well, everyone in our area thought it went in, except for me and my buddy next to me. We both were like, "That's wide right," because you saw Gilbert when he kicked it. When I'm at an angle like that, I never watched the ball necessarily. I watched the reaction of the players, because if it went in or not. And everyone in the Tennessee student section starts going crazy. Beer's going up in the air. You got liquid coming down from beer and cups and everything. Everyone's going crazy. Everyone's jumping up and down. And me and my buddies were like, the kick didn't go. We're telling everybody the ball did not go. It didn't go through the uprights. And you see him walking off the field. Georgia's celebrating. Kirby's going nuts on the sideline. And then everyone, collectively just it didn't go in. Oh, he missed it to the right. It was such a weird angle that the student section was in.
And I think it was more so his reaction that made it easy for people to kind of clown on him too.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a great reaction after. He just did this number and just stood there looking at it.
The weirdest thing about that whole thing was, I don't know if you remember this, whoever the sideline announcer was I don't remember if it was Molly McGrath or whoever it was.
Who was CBS, right? Not CBS. It was ABC.
It was ABC. So it was either McGrath or it was
Holly Rowe.
No, I don't think it was Holly Rowe. It was either McGrath or Rutledge. I'm pretty sure was doing that game. But I remember she said, before he was when he was warming up on the sideline, she was like, you can tell he has a nervous energy about him. It's it's not necessarily what you want to hear before he's going out to kick the game-winning field goal. Again, he was a good kicker here while he was at Tennessee for most of his time. He made a good amount of kicks. I mean, statistically, right, he has the best field goal percentage in Tennessee history, right? But not a very clutch kicker. He missed that kick. He missed the kick against Illinois. He had a couple missed kicks. And I'm not about the whole, going on Twitter and social media and attacking a kid and telling him he sucks and he should transfer. You don't do that, especially for a kid that plays at your school. You don't do that. But at the end of the day, I think him moving on, he gets an opportunity to still kick at an SEC school. And I think that we bring in a better kicker in Cooper Ranvier this season, who has a lot of swag. And I love
that kid.
I do too. And, I mean, you look at some of his highlights from Louisville, that guy looks like he has fun when he plays football. I like that.
I just like kickers that don't look like finance students.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Max Gilbert was, he looked like he really did look like he was more of a fraternity, maybe playing in the fraternity basketball league or the 7-on-7 flag football, but he was a kicker. And again, I'm not here to hate on him or anything, but I do think that the way that you've moved in your special teams department this season is going to be better for all parties involved. And I hope he goes to Arkansas and has a great career. I wish him no ill will. Just not against us. I hope you can go 0 for 3 against us, make every kick for the rest of the season. Just, please do not make any game-tying field goals against us. That would be...
Even if he makes anything against us, I probably won't like. I won't like it. Anything other than an extra point, I'll probably be upset about it.
Yeah. Well, that'll be an interesting one of those games within the games when you travel down to Fayetteville.
And they're going to talk. That's all they're going to talk about.
Oh, they'll talk about it for sure.
And they'll show replays of the kick.
Probably.
We'll have to relive it.
Yeah. Not a moment you want to relive. On the other side, in hour 2, though, we're going to get into some college football news around the country. A player at TCU that was kicked off the team today for assaulting another player in the locker room. That player is in the hospital. We'll talk about that. College football hot seats. And then we'll get into some more college football news where we're going to talk about some of this other drama where we're not good enough in the NFL preseason. Come on back to college football. No problem. There's no guard rules in place anyways. We'll talk about it all on the other side. Stick with us for hour 2 overtime here on Fan Run Radio.
Today, we raise a glass of Jameson Irish whiskey to the sport of football. Hear, hear!
To Gaelic football, born in Ireland in 1885 in its thrilling blend of soccer, rugby and basketball. On a massive field, 15 players kick or hand pass a round ball that scored points over a bar or into a net. No pads, no helmet, no sense.
Hear, hear!
To college football, which kicked off in 1869 when Rutgers beat Princeton 6-4 in the Battle of New Jersey. With 11 players and helmets and pads, teams battle on a 100-yard gridiron with explosive pass plays and hard-hitting tackles. Unless you're called for targeting.
Hear, hear! Since 1780, Jameson Irish whiskey has been enjoyed by sports fans all around the globe. Whether your football is Gaelic, American, or even soccer, we can all agree on super smooth Jameson Irish whiskey. Hear, hear!
What's the difference between an ordinary EV and a Mercedes-Benz EV? The feeling. Electric is what gets you there. Mercedes-Benz is what moves you. In ways no other automaker can. Feel the freedom of the superbly versatile 7-seater EQB. Revel in the inspired, customizable comfort of the EQE sedan. Sense the brilliant intelligence of the EQE SUV. Discover the boundless capability of the EQS SUV. And luxuriate in the flagship meets spaceship magnificence of the EQS sedan. Every Mercedes-Benz electric vehicle offers the very latest MBUX voice-activated AI software, as well as remote access to a whole host of functions via the Mercedes Me Connect app. The vehicle's electric, the feeling all Mercedes, the choice all yours. Test drive a Mercedes-Benz electric today at your local dealer or learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Football season is all about winning game plans, and here at Knoxville Smiles, we believe that your smile deserves an all-star game plan too. Whether it's a routine cleaning, whitening, or restoring your confidence, Knoxville Smiles has the experience to keep your smile in championship form. Don't let dental pain blitz your game plan. Call Knoxville Smiles today and schedule your appointment, because a healthy smile is the ultimate home field advantage. Call 865-539-1776 or schedule online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
All right, back here for hour number 2 here of the show on Overtime here on this Thursday afternoon in Knoxville. We appreciate you hanging in there and listening to us today. We had a great hour 1 discussing Tennessee football, the new smoky gray uniforms, the Tennessee-Alabama home-and-home jerseys that will be worn. Since we did not have a show yesterday, that was a good discussion for us today and within the fan base over the past couple of days as well. Then we previewed the Brentwood Academy versus the Baylor School game that will be happening tonight on ESPN2. 3 future Tennessee athletes will be playing in that one. And then we got into some talk about the Moonshine Mountain Cookie Monster Athlete of the Year, which will be Braylon Staley, looking to break the streak on some of the previous athletes that have been nominated for that position over the past couple seasons. We're going to go to the national college football scenes now, and we're going to start with probably one of the craziest stories I've ever seen in college football. So you get the word yesterday that TCU safety Jacob Fields had been dismissed from the program. And Jacob Fields was at Louisiana Tech last season. He was the co-defensive player of the year in the Conference USA last season. He had like 50 solo tackles, a couple interceptions, bunch of pass breakups. Like, he was real deal player, real deal DB. So he transfers to TCU this offseason, and there was word that he had committed an assault in the football locker room yesterday, and it was reported to police. So new stuff comes out today that allegedly, and this is what sources said to one account, and there were other people that said this came out, wide receiver Dozie Ezkunma, I believe I'm saying that right, Ezkunma, was beaten in the locker room by Jacob Fields and remains hospitalized. Dozie, who he didn't play a whole lot last season, he had 2 receptions for, I think, 15 yards, was supposed to be a little bit more of a factor in the wide receiver room this season. And outside of the fact that you had a domestic violence situation that occurred in the TCU locker room, where a starting defensive player essentially mauls an offensive player who's now in the locker room, in the hospital. Not only that, they play the first FBS football game of the season next Saturday against North Carolina, and I would imagine that they travel to Dublin for the game probably on Monday or maybe even this weekend.
Yeah.
This is, this isn't just a big deal in the fact that, like, you don't see stuff like this happen, but this is also a big deal if you got some currency on the game. I would imagine that the point spread could potentially move, maybe a point, maybe 2 points. I mean, you have one of the best defensive players in the field that's now been kicked off the team, and you have a guy that was supposed to be one of the wide receivers in your room that probably won't be able to play now.
Yeah, I just dumped the house on North Carolina.
Well, I don't know that that's a smart idea either, because I don't know that you can trust Bill Belichick. But at least Bill Belichick doesn't have domestic violence disputes happening in his locker room. He might be dating a woman 50 years younger than him, and he might have some, I wouldn't say North Carolina is exactly running the cleanest operation either, but they don't have people getting beaten in their locker room.
Just to be clear, I did not do that. I think they could put me out there defensive back, and they'd probably still win.
Well, I think their defense actually might be decent this year. I just don't think they can score points.
North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like TCU, though. I like Jaden Craig. But specifically to this incident alone, I mean, what do you even make of this?
I mean, people think Tennessee's got locker room issues with the Chaz Coleman and Boo Carter stuff. I mean, now I will say we did kind of have a similar situation. We didn't put anybody in the hospital, but I mean, the South Carolina stuff where Joe Milton broke Jeremy Banks' jaw or whatever. I know that's alleged. Nobody ever confirmed that, but I don't know. It's now from time to time you hear stuff like this occasionally. It's rarely ever this brutal. But you hear stuff like this every now and then. It's just usually not a week before the season starts.
Well, what's interesting about this is you have locker room fights all the time. Whether, one of the players goes behind another player's back and gets with his girl, or, they have some dispute on the field or whatnot. I mean, it happens in football. That when you put 18 to 22-year-old athletes together and there's 100 of them that play football together, competing for starting spots, running around with the same people from their hometown, same girls that they run around with, stuff like this happens. fights happen, things like that happen. Usually, though, another teammate steps in, multiple teammates, a coach steps in, someone steps in to avoid this happening. I just wonder how, this happens without someone else stepping in, because it just doesn't.
It's usually pretty immediate.
Yeah, and I don't think. Obviously they're college athletes, they're strong. I wouldn't expect one guy to get beat up so bad he'd be going to the hospital. You'd expect him to be able to defend himself at least.
Yeah, if there's a real genuine fight, when I played basketball in high school, we used to pad the bathrooms with mattresses and have fights in the bathroom. But,
yeah,
we were never hospitalizing anybody. Mm-hmm. If there was ever a real fight that broke out, it was broken up rather quickly.
Yeah, and there's a difference. Sure, there's a difference between horsing around and actually hurting somebody.
Yeah,
I just never have seen anything like. Obviously, the name. Obviously, they said Dozie, the wide receiver, was the one that was allegedly. I don't think it's allegedly. I think he was the one, but allegedly he's the one that's in the hospital. Jacob Fields now kicked off the team. A wild story to have, especially at TCU. You wouldn't exactly expect that. I feel like that program runs pretty.
I guess we can't call it. Wait, do we still call them Texas Christian University?
That's what they are, but not even from the religious standpoint.
But I thought they didn't want to be called that anymore.
No, I think they do.
They do? Okay, I thought something happened a few years ago where they changed their name or whatever.
No,
they're still TCU.
SMU got laid out the death penalty by the NCAA, but that was a long time ago. But not even looking at it from a religious point of view, but I feel like Sonny Dykes, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Sonny Styles is the Ohio State player. Okay. Sonny Dykes. I feel like Sonny Dykes has run a pretty clean operation of his program since he's been there. He's been at TCU for a while now. He led him to a national championship in 2022. I've never really noticed anything that's happened in his program while he's been there. He's been there since that was his first season there, because he came over from, where was he at before? SMU, or was he at Baylor before that? Either way, he's been coaching for a while, and he's been at SMU for a little bit now, and he seems like he runs say that again?
SMU till 2020.
SMU, that's okay. So he was at SMU before.
Cal, and he was at SMU.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, SMU. Well, I've never heard anything come out of his program before where anything like this. So that shows you to Tennessee people too that something happens in a locker room and people blame Heupel. Sometimes it's not always in the coach's control. In a situation like this,
I don't think Heupel's breaking up any fights.
What's Sonny Dykes supposed to do here? I guess you could say go out and recruit better people, but that's
when you're recruiting, when you got a 60-man roster, it's hard to make sure every guy is of the utmost integrity.
Yeah. Looking at the YouTube chat, Big Sin Tennessee says, "Great job, gentlemen, liking the show. We appreciate you commenting and listening to us." I do want to get into this college football. I wanted to do this here in the second hour. Some college football coaches on the hot seat. I'm going to name, we have 1, 2, 3. I get 6 of them. I guess if we got 20 minutes or so till the next break.
Let me see, 1, 2. I have 6, maybe 7.
Okay. So we'll kind of go by and give a few minutes of why I think and you think each coach should be on the hot seat. For me,
number 1's easy, I guess, for both of us.
Who is it for you?
Norvell.
Yeah. The thing about Norvell to me is he kind of got dealed a short stick because he had it rolling, right? They were a really good team in 2020. What was that, 2022? Or was that
22? 22 is when they went 16-0 and then, or not 16-0. They
15-1 or 13. They won every game in the regular season, won the ACC championship, and then lost or didn't make the playoffs. And then
they lost to Georgia.
Then they lost in the Orange Bowl because everybody opted out. That to me just ruined him completely because that team had so many good players. Jordan Travis breaks his leg?
Yeah, he shattered his leg.
Yeah, breaks his leg in the Northern Alabama game, the FCS game during Cupcake Week, right before Rivalry Week. They beat Florida, and then they play in the ACC Championship, and you had Brock Glenn as the starting quarterback. Brock Glenn now plays at Western Kentucky and is going to lose the job to Rodney Hidsdale this season. So that tells you where Brock Glenn's career has gone a little bit. I I will say the QB1 at Western Kentucky, he's a pretty good player, but nevertheless went from, starting quarterback at FSU in the ACC championship game to backup in a Conference USA team. Not exactly ideal, but I just think Mike Norvell, like, everything just went south after that. Like,
yeah, I don't think he really ever recovered because he didn't have like a Notre Dame attitude like they had last year when they missed the playoffs, but I don't think he kind of reacted in the best possible way, especially if you go back and watch that video
of when they got left out.
Like, his reaction was a little odd.
Well, I mean, I think any coach, though, that had his team go 13-0 and was left out of a 14 playoff would do the same thing.
Yeah, I still to this day don't, like, even with everything that happens in college football, that's still one of the most insane things I've ever seen, if not the most insane.
I don't care what anyone says. They didn't have they don't have Jordan Travis. He can't play in the playoffs. They had the best defense in the country that season.
Yep.
They won the ACC championship and couldn't complete a forward pass throughout the game.
And I don't want to proliferate any kind of Alabama has the NCAA or ESPN in their pocket kind of thing, because I do not believe that in any sense of the word at all. But I think if it was any team other than Alabama, I don't think they would have gotten left out.
It was just a crazy that they were left out. All right, to me, that's the worst snub
in sports history.
One of the worst in, like, not just college football history, like sports history. It still to this day is crazy to me how they got left out.
That might be worse than Deshaun Bishop for the Doak Walker.
Yeah, well, at least Deshaun Bishop can let him know this season. Mike Norvell, the curse for them actually was when the fans said that he was going to eat the dog.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Said he was going to eat dog crap out of a cup. Before week 1 of the season.
I think he deleted his account after that.
Florida State went 2-10, and they have not been the same since then. Yeah. So they have the curse down there in Tallahassee going. I think they'll be a little better this season, but I still think they're.
I think what's the agent's name? He represents like every coach. Well, regardless, whatever his name is, he absolutely he fleeced Florida State during that whole Alabama coaching search, because he got his contract extended like 6 more years, and then Norvell's buyout went up to like $100 million. Like the year they went 2-10, his buyout was like $100.
Oh, Jimmy Sexton, yeah.
His buyout was like $110 million.
Yeah,
and I think his buyout right now is still like almost $60 million.
Yeah. Jimmy Sexton does. I didn't realize he was represented by him, but yeah, Jimmy Sexton, he's pretty much everybody's agent.
Yeah, that whole he got a lot of people paid during that Alabama coaching search.
Yeah. My next one, I don't think it's going to be your next one, but my next one is Luke Fickell at Wisconsin.
That is my next one.
Okay, well, we think great minds think alike. Luke Fickell was a really good coach at Cincinnati. Led Cincinnati to the 14 playoff while they were in the American Conference with Desmond Ridder as his quarterback. They had some nice. Sauce Gardner was on that team. Yep. They had a good team. They were a good team. They lost to Alabama.
Despite what people say, they did not get run off the field by Alabama.
No, they didn't.
I refuse to believe that.
They were competitive in that game.
Yeah.
They weren't good enough to win at the line of scrimmage, but they were competitive. They played in a deep American Conference, and Luke Fickell won a lot of games at Cincinnati and got Cincinnati to a college football playoff in the 4-team era, not the 12-team era. He got a group of 5 team in the 4-team era. People don't discuss that as much as they should.
The only group of 5 team to ever make the 4-team.
Yeah. He went to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin they've been pathetic over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, I think they might be they could be decent this year. I think they can be a little bit better, but he's just like, I had really high hopes when Fickell went to Wisconsin, because he was a guy that he was kind of like a Matt Campbell. Like, everybody wanted him, but he never went anywhere. He was waiting on the right job, and then he ultimately goes to Wisconsin. It just feels like they've been banging gears ever since he got there.
Well, I mean, you remember those Wisconsin teams from about 10 years ago when they were RBU. They had all those running backs that came through, whether it was Melvin Gordon. I mean, they were literally every year they had a running back that would rush for like damn near 2,000 yards.
Well, did they have TJ, or did they just have JJ Watt?
I
think they had the Watt brothers.
Yeah, they might have had both.
Yeah, so they had them too. TJ was a little bit later.
JJ Watt was like, that was like 16, 18 years ago. Yeah. But
TJ Watt was like 2016, 27.
Something like that, yeah. But like, I mean, Wisconsin, storied program. They just they're one of those teams that's just been very offensively challenged over the past couple seasons.
Yeah.
Haven't had a quarterback.
They'll upset a team every now and then.
Yeah. And who did they beat someone that was decent last season? Can't remember who it was. But I do have higher hopes for them this year. Like Colton Joseph, I think, is a really good quarterback that's coming over from, or Colton Joseph, not Joseph. Colton Joseph that's coming over from Old Dominion.
Washington.
Say that again.
They beat Washington.
But that's what it was. They beat Washington. It was like a really cold
and
game.
Illinois. They beat Illinois 27-10.
Okay. I think the Washington game was like 14-10. It was like a very low scoring game. But Colton Joseph comes over from Old Dominion, one of the best QB rushers in the country. He has a good arm too. He's developed his arm. But again, like Wisconsin's going to be one of those teams, like even if they play well, like 6-win team probably.
Yeah.
I just think they have to go elsewhere. Like they're just not their recruiting's been better. And I guess out of the portal, they did decent, but to me, they just I don't know.
They avoid Ohio State, Michigan, and Indiana though.
He's got a chance to keep himself employed, but he's got to have a good year.
They open up at Notre Dame, so they're going to start off bad there. But then they play Western Illinois, Eastern Michigan. Then they go to Penn State. Penn State's such a wild card for me. I honestly wouldn't be. They could go in there and win that game.
Yeah, they could win 7 games, but what they have this year that they haven't had in previous years is they have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what Wisconsin looks like.
3?
I have Mike Locksley at Maryland as number 3. Locksley's a guy. He's a good dude. Every time he talks, I think he's a very intelligent guy. I think he's a good leader of, if you want to say leader of men, whatever you want to say. I think he's a very good coach in the aspect of he develops people. I like what he does. The truth of the matter is they can't win football games.
Yeah.
And he said the other day, I don't think it was a Big Ten Media Day. It was after that.
It was like an on-the-field interview because I think I know what you're
talking
about when he was like, don't expect too much or whatever.
No, that was the Oregon State coach that said that. That was Jamarcus Shepard.
Didn't he say something along the line?
Mike Locksley said 2025's 4-8 was a lot different than 2024's 4-8.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Mike, unfortunately, 4-8 2 years in a row. It doesn't matter how you did it. 4-8's not good. And they started the season last year, I think 4-0, and lost their last 8 games of their season last year. So, I don't really know what to tell them at that point because they had some hype behind them last season. They have a good quarterback. Malik Washington was one of the best freshmen quarterback in the country last year with JKS.
Well, they had a lot of hype the first year they went 4-8 because that was when they had the other Tagovailoa, wasn't it?
No, I think he ended his career at 24, but he was just there for a long time. He leads the Big Ten in career passing yards.
Does he? Tao?
Yeah, he has the most career passing yards in Big Ten history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he threw for like 3,500 yards back-to-back seasons.
It's kind of crazy.
They have Zion, whatever, I can't remember what his name is. He's a 5-star edge that's coming there. He's a true freshman this season. And their other edge last season that had 8 sacks last year, he's out for the season now. So that's not great for them on the D-line, but they have a good secondary. But I think one of their cornerbacks got arrested and kicked off the team last week, so that doesn't help them either. They had a season-ending injury, and I think a kid got kicked off the team. But they have a pretty good defense. I like what I've seen out of Malik Washington a lot last season. I thought he was a really good quarterback. I just don't necessarily know that they have the pieces around them, but we'll see. Mike Locksley, he's one of those guys that if he gets fired, he'll get another job somewhere. He's he's one of those guys that they always say coaching is like a fraternity. You might suck, but someone else is going to hire you. He'll get hired by somebody. He won't be a head coach, but he'll get a coordinator role somebody if he gets fired by Maryland. He's been in college football for too long.
I have Beamer at my 3, and Locksley is on this list, but he's a little bit further down just for the fact that I think if they win 6 games, he probably keeps his job. Expectations at Maryland are not super high. Obviously, if you go 4-8 again, you're probably canned, but I think 6 wins. If you make a bowl game at Maryland, that's a successful season in their eyes.
Yeah.
So I do think that he needs to get it going, but I have him further down the list just for that reason alone. The reason I have Beamer on here is because I don't think Beamer will last 6 games. I think Beamer goes out, and I don't think it's going to be pretty for them this year. They have really good pieces. Whether they're going to have 3, like you said yesterday, they're going to have 3 first-round draft picks. They have Lenore Sellers, who would have been the number 1 overall selection in this year's draft if he would have entered the draft.
Preseason he would have been number 1.
Yeah, Dylan Stewart on defense. You're going to have really good pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were talking about yesterday, they lose 2 of their starting receivers to lower leg injuries for the entire season. I don't think South Carolina's season is going to be pretty this year by any means, and I'm going to be really happy watching South Carolina football this year because I really do not like that guy.
South Carolina last season when they played Texas A&M, that kind of summed up what they've been for the past couple of years. They go up 31-0. They had the incident with the police officer on the sideline where was that Nick Harbor that had the touchdown, goes in like the tunnel and the police officer pushes him.
That was Nick Harbor.
And then Texas A&M scored like 34 unanswered points in the second half, and South Carolina blew a 31-0 lead.
I think they ended up winning that game by like 7 or 10 points.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was still a possession, but like, I mean, how do you blow a 31-point lead?
South Carolina.
Like you said, they have 3 first-round draft picks. Dylan Stewart coming off the edge, Nick Harbor, who's the fastest wide receiver in the country, and Lenore Sellers, who regressed last season, but if he gets back to where he was in 2024 and moves up the ladder a little bit, first round, he's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick just because of what he is.
So was Beamer at your 4?
No, I had a couple people ahead of Beamer just because I think South Carolina is one of those teams that can win this season. Will they win? I don't know. But like at the same time, like they were a pretty good team 2 seasons ago. I think people saying that he's going to get fired. I think if they have a losing season, he'll get fired. But if they make a bowl game, I think he's fine. I just think their fan base to me likes him. And
which I don't understand why.
Well, I mean, his dad, obviously, Frank Beamer, is a historic coach, and he knows football. I mean, we talked about it the other day. He's kind of like Drinkwitz. He's a little bit corny. He's kind of hard to listen to sometimes. Some of his answers are kind of childish, but he's won a decent amount of games while he's been there. South Carolina football obviously hasn't really been good over the last handful of seasons. Really haven't had consistent success at South Carolina since Steve Spurrier was there. Yeah. And South Carolina, they have the resources to be good. They have the money to be good. They have the fan base to be good. Their athletic department's just in a really bad spot right now. And
the entire athletic department is in a really bad. Like
outside of women's basketball, they're not good at really anything.
I don't know who in the SEC has a worse. Maybe Missouri.
I think Missouri has a better one than them right now. South Carolina will have a good baseball team here soon because of the hire that they made this offseason. But, they've been horrible in baseball. Mizzou's been better than them at basketball. Football, they've been pretty comparable. Obviously, Drinkwitz is the better coach than Beamer. Drinkwitz isn't on the hot seat going into this year, but they're kind of similar personality-wise. They've elevated their school to, higher places than where they were before they got there to the most part, but I feel like they've also kind of hit the ceiling. Like, I don't really think, Drinkwitz is never going to get higher than what he did when they played Ohio State in a New Year's Six Bowl. Like, it's just not going to happen. Mizzou's never going to be a playoff team, in my opinion. And South Carolina probably is never going to be more than an 8-9 win team while Beamer's there. So, take that how you want. I just think that those are teams that they don't have the amount of money that Tennessee and Texas and some of these other teams are spending. Tennessee doesn't even have the money that Texas is spending. But Tennessee still has a lot more money than Mizzou and South Carolina, and Tennessee's still in the top 20% of the conference, spending and stuff, opposed to some of these other teams.
Yeah. We just don't got the oil money.
We don't have the Texas oil money. We have donors, obviously. We have good donors, but we don't have, like you said, the Texas oil money and the donors that Texas has, where they have multiple, 9-figure people, that are donating.
I don't think we're far off, though.
No, we're not far off at all. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, A&M and Texas have oil money, and the rest of the conference doesn't.
Yeah, it's the difference between a $50 million roster and a $35-40 million.
Which again, a $40 million roster is good, but $10 million, that could buy another 2 elite players, and that could be the difference. Who was your next one?
Lincoln Riley.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get fired, but I think if he goes 7-5 again, or he goes 8-4, I think there's a really good chance that he could. Like he's been there. This is his 5th year. I think it's either his 4th or his 5th year. Not 100% sure, but he needs to get it going. Like he needs to win. I think he will. I think they will have a good season this year. Because when I did this list of like my coaching hot seats, I ranked it off just like I didn't rank it off if I thought they were going to get fired. I just ranked it off of how like hot their seat is currently and how desperately the coach needs to win. Because I think Lincoln Riley desperately needs to win 9 to 10 games this year and maybe even make a playoff. This is Jaden Mayava's 3rd year.
Yeah,
it's time for USC it's time for him to get it going.
I just think the way that he's developed quarterbacks over his career. He's the best quarterback developer in the country.
Yeah.
I just don't think his offenses are always going to be good. I mean, last year you had Mekhi Lemon, you had Jacoby Lane, you had, a multitude of running backs that you had. This season, again, they're going to have pieces on offense. USC's always going to have pieces on offense. This year they're going to have Tanuk Hines. They're going to have most of their running back room back. I thought he made what he did was smart. He went and got D'Anton Lynn as his DC last season, and he goes to Penn State now. And then he goes out and hires former TCU head coach Gary Patterson to be his DC this season. And USC, obviously, the defense is where you win or lose games, because last season they were in the Alamo Bowl against TCU, score, and then TCU scores right there in overtime, and they give up a 30-yard first and 10 and lose the game because of that. But in my opinion, like I said, the offense is always going to be there. Him getting rid of Alex Grinch was the best thing he could have done, because when Caleb Williams was there, they should have been a playoff team, but their defense gave up 50 points per game. So he's just got to continue to be serious with what he does on defense. But I think
defense has gotten better.
It has gotten better, and Lynn made it better, and I think Patterson will get it better too. That's why I'm kind of ambitious on USC this season.
Oh, I think USC's going to be good, but my viewpoint of it is if they aren't good,
yeah,
there's not much leash he has left.
Who was your next one?
David Aranda.
That's who I have, Dave Aranda. Yeah.
I think if they didn't have the situation with their athletic director last year, I think he'd already be fired.
Yeah, to me too. I mean, it all hangs in the balance of a quarterback that just did not work out at Florida.
Yeah.
And to me, DJ Lagway, he has a lot of potential.
He's not who I would rest my career on.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm kind of getting at. He has the potential to be good. He's a very highly rated quarterback out of high school. He had very good flashes in 2024, and most people thought he had the potential to be the best quarterback in the SEC last season. The problem is the guy has one of the worst interception rates in the country. He turns the ball over a lot, and maybe he fixes that in the Big 12, goes back home to Texas, resurrects his career. You've heard a lot of people say that that's what's going to happen this season. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a really good season and threw for 3,000 yards at Baylor, 30 touchdowns this season. Wouldn't surprise me. He's got the potential. It also wouldn't surprise me if he went out there and threw 18 interceptions again this year. What was the LSU game? He had, 4 or 5 interceptions last year?
I think it was 4. Yeah.
4? I mean, you just can't do that. You have to keep the football.
Against a bad LSU defense, too.
Yes. They got better last season, but still, not a team you should be throwing that many interceptions against. I just think Baylor right now is to me, it's not as a when RG3 was there and Briles was there. And obviously they handled the whole off-the-field situation with Art Briles and everything that happened there with the cover-ups of the cases, all the alleged stuff that happened there. But, they were fun back then. To me, Baylor's just they're not a fun football team anymore.
They haven't been for a while. I still think it's an attractive job.
Yeah, it's a private school. It has money, obviously. It's in Texas.
Yeah. You're in the middle of Waco, Texas. I mean, you're pretty much a day's drive away from all the big cities in Texas, Houston,
right.
Dallas, and
accumulating talent should never be an issue there.
No.
But to me, the last time I remember a relevant game for Baylor was when TCU kicked the game-winning field goal against them in 2022 to keep their undefeated season alive.
Was that when they had game day?
Maybe. I don't remember. I remember watching the end of that game and the end of the Alabama-Ole Miss game at the same time in 2022. But TCU made a pretty long field goal, came back and won the game, kept their undefeated season alive, and obviously won the playoffs. But I mean, that was really the last time I remember sitting down and really watching the entirety of a Baylor football game.
The last time I watched Baylor was when it was
probably the Auburn game last year, right?
Well, no, it was 20. Not the last time I watched, but the last time I was anticipating a Baylor game.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah,
the 2019 when they had game day with Oklahoma.
Okay,
that was the last time that Baylor was they were ranked number 13.
Yeah,
they lost, but they've never really.
I mean, Sawyer Robertson was a really good quarterback last year. He led the country in passing through the first 6 weeks of the season or something. I mean, he was a good quarterback for sure, but they just couldn't win football games last season. So, is what it is. Baylor's got to figure some things out. I guess. Do you have any other?
No, I didn't have any. I mean, other than you could rattle off guys off the top of my head, Belichick or Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I had Satterfield as kind of my last one at Cincinnati. I just think Cincinnati's been underwhelming. But
I think you can make a small argument for Jeff Lebby, but I would probably cut him a little bit more slack than that.
He's in a tough spot at Mississippi State. People forget how the way that the whole situation with Leach happening.
Yeah. That's just a name that gets thrown around a lot in
the
hot seat talk.
I just think that's unfair. I mean, you had a situation that no one wants to happen in your athletic department of your active coach that literally passes away. I mean, he was just dealt a tough hand. I think, to keep Kamario Taylor there, I mean, that's pretty impressive in my opinion, and I think he's going to be really good this season. I'm a little ambitious that Mississippi State can make a bowl game this season. I think they could definitely make a bowl game this season. So, on the other side, we'll talk about some of these professional football players that might be coming back to college football. It's basically Charles Bediako all over again, but we're going to be doing it football style. We'll cover it all on the other side. Stick with us. Overtime.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at boknowshouses.com.
Have you ever found yourself wishing your clothes looked brand new again? Whether it's your favorite suit, that little black dress, or your comfy winter coat, Crown Cleaners can make it happen. From stubborn stains to delicate fabrics, the expert team at Crown Cleaners uses the latest cleaning technology to ensure your clothes come back looking and feeling fresh. Visit one of their 2 area locations, Kingston Pike on Bearden Hill or South North Shore Drive near Dunkin' Donuts. Online at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, a tradition of excellence.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court-martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
All right, back here on Overtime, continuing the conversation, getting into some of these guys that finished their college football career, you thought, go to the NFL preseason, and maybe it's not going to work out. And a Louisiana judge says, 16 of these players, you're actually going to be allowed to come back to college football. Daquan Wright, who was on the Ole Miss team last season, tight end that had almost 700 receiving yards last year. He's entered the transfer portal today, and he'll be looking to take his talents elsewhere. The college football season starts next Saturday.
I thought you couldn't go in the portal, though. I thought you had to go back to the school.
No, that was the new thing. You're allowed to enter the portal now.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So he's entering the portal, and that guy, Jack Pryburn, he hasn't announced what he's doing yet, but, I mean, LSU linebacker that plays for the Buccaneers now, he's allowed to go back if he wants to play college football.
But he can't wear number 5.
He cannot wear number 5. That is very true. Gotta keep Jaden Daniels' wishes in front of you at LSU. But, I mean, just how stupid is this?
It's one of the stupidest things I've seen. And like I said earlier, with the state of college football right now, that is a large statement to make.
Sure.
Yeah, like you said, it's Charles Bediako all over again, but it's 16 guys instead of 1.
It just doesn't – I don't understand why – look, if you played college football, it happens all the time. There's a lot of great college football players that aren't good enough to play in the NFL. It just happens. There's only 32 teams. You can't have 138 FBS teams, FCS guys that are getting drafted, the occasional D2, D3 guy that are on these practice squads. You're not all making a 32 team, 60-man roster.
Yeah, just go back to your hometown, open up your car dealership.
You don't even have to go do that. You can go play professional football in the UFL or the CFL. Or like you said, go do something with your degree. Why are you going back to play college football at 22, 23 years old? If you weren't good enough, you're probably still not good enough.
I think that's, you say do something with your degree. I think that's a problem that a lot of these guys have too, is because kids growing up, obviously, it's easy when you're 15 years old to be like, I'm going to play in the NFL and there's no other route for me. But when you're 23 years old and you're graduated from college, I get the whole mindset of like, this is the only thing for me. But at some point you got to be a little realistic and be like there's a thing, like it's time to move on and go like have a career.
Well, this goes to Lenore Sellers. I saw this yesterday on 3 said his full focus is on football this season. He's not taking any classes at the University of South Carolina this fall.
So I thought you had to take at least one class.
He's doing an internship at a local driving range that gives him credit for a class.
Okay. So it's okay.
So if you go up to the driving range and you want to hit some 7-irons, you might find Lenore Sellers coming up and giving you some more range balls.
I'm gonna go there just to have him do that.
And then Rocco Beck today, Penn State's quarterback, he said he's taking one class online at Penn State because he already graduated with his communications degree at Iowa State. When they asked him what class he'd be taking, he responded, "I don't know. We'll have to see." So, at this point, college football, we always knew that, the athletes weren't, really going to class. That's never really been. If you're a top player, you don't really have to go to class. You can kind of have, your tutors maybe do your work for you, or maybe hop into the online Zoom a couple times a month. But now we legitimately have players that are basically just telling the media, like, yeah, no, I don't really do school. I just play football. I don't do school. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's the most ridiculous thing. Like, obviously, everybody knows, like, it's not crazy. Like, seniors, like fifth-year senior guys would be like, yeah, I'm only taking 1 or 2 classes. But, like, if you're taking no classes, you're not a college athlete anymore. You're just a guy that plays football at LSU or a guy that plays football wherever, Tennessee, Ole Miss. Like,
I guess there are some differences with, like they've graduated, but, like, Lenore Sellers was a class of 2023 in high school, which would mean he would be a senior in college this year. Like, unless he's just really smart and graduated college in 3 years, which would be nearly impossible to do playing college football, how do you get all your credits done in 3 years?
I don't know. You take 18 hours a semester and you have somebody else do your work for you. Because
Austin Simmons, he's like the one guy that's like the genius that like actually got through college in however many years. I think he graduated in like 2.5 years. But I think he came into college with like a lot of credits already, which maybe all these guys did. I don't know. You have the guys that enroll early now too. So, I mean, you kind of get a semester to get out ahead of it, but it's just kind of unbelievable to me that the school year has started and Rocco Beck says, I don't know what class I'm taking. I'll figure it out. And Lenora Sellers' only class is he is a driving range attendant at the local driving range in Columbia, South Carolina.
Well, because these guys don't care about getting their degree. Like Rocco Becht already has one, so he doesn't care what class he takes because he's not getting a degree from Penn State. He's only going to be there a year.
Yeah. So, well, and that's what he said. You know, he graduated from Iowa State. I guess that one makes sense. Yeah. The funniest part about Lenora Sellers was he is a something sports major. I can't remember what I read that he was, but he basically said, he was like, yeah, man, like if it doesn't work out in the NFL for me, like I'd like to design golf courses. And that's why he's doing the driving range internship. He said that he would like to design golf courses.
That's probably a pretty tough field to get into, I would imagine.
Especially if you don't play much golf.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Lenora Sellers, maybe he does play golf if he's working at the driving range, but
that's the thing about golf is one of those sports that every athlete in the world, every like professional athlete in the world almost plays.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most time consuming, most difficult sports ever. And it's kind of just like every NFL, NBA, a lot of MLB players play it too. They're like, yeah, I just play golf. Some of them are insanely good too.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the basketball players, I mean, obviously Steph is really good at golf.
A lot of the Tennessee basketball players play golf.
Yeah, I know JP played. I don't know outside of that who plays, but I mean, I know like you see it in basketball, obviously like Bron. I mean, he started playing now. Austin Reeves he's really good at golf.
Bron's not as good as Austin Reeves. But.
No, not even close. Austin Reeves, Steph Curry.
Doesn't Austin Reeves play in like amateur tournaments?
Yeah, and Steph Curry's gotten in. He's played
crazy.
He's played professional tournaments.
Curry's probably the best one, I would say.
Curry, I would say of like athletes, Curry, Romo. Those are like the two best, or him and Romo.
Because I don't know how you're a big golf guy, right? I don't know how big of a Bryson DeChambeau guy you are. I'm not a big Bryson DeChambeau guy myself, but
I used to like it more than I do now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. He does his whole Break 50 series on YouTube.
Right.
If you watch that video with him and Steph Curry,
yeah, he almost makes a hole in one.
He's throwing darts.
Yeah,
like absolute darts.
Well, I think Bryson helped Bronny with his swing in one of the videos too. Bronny's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't know if Bryson DeChambeau is the guy I'd go to about swing tips, but again, he's a professional golfer that's won a U.S. Open, so I guess I can't talk about him too much.
Yeah, well, he's actually won multiple U.S. Opens. But yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, yeah, like you said, golf is one of those sports where like that's kind of. I mean, I find that with like my buddies from high school. They're like I went to high school with that didn't play golf. Like when I was in high school, they were golf. Like that's who would want to play that. And then now, in college, they all play golf. It's just kind of a sport you get into as you get older, I think.
Yeah, I didn't start playing golf till I turned 18. And
yeah.
I'll go through spurts. Like at the beginning of the summer, I played a ton of golf, and now I don't really play as much golf. But
where do you play around here usually?
I like Three Ridges is my favorite course. I live right next to Municipal, so I play there sometimes, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just really expensive for the quality of course it is. And
Three Ridges is the best, like, price for the greens are always in really good shape there.
It's like a
municipal
city-owned course, so it's got a lot of money behind it. But then if I'm trying to spend a little money, I'll probably go play a Centennial or something.
Yeah, you played Iguani before?
I have played Iguani. That's a little pricey, but if you go on Mondays, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I like Iguani. Willow Creek's nice. That's down in Farragut.
Yeah, I played Willow Creek.
And then I mean the deal you can get as a student out at Island Point. I mean, you can't beat that.
What's the student? Because all I know about Island Point is it's like $70 at tee time.
You pay I think $40 for the orange card, which you can use the entire time you're in college, and then you can play after 2 p.m. or I think it's 1 p.m. on weekdays, 2 p.m. on weekends for $38 with the cart.
Did not know about that.
Yeah,
I will have to look into that.
So that's
I
what
love Island Point. It's just expensive.
My buddies and I, when we usually play, we usually go to Island Point because I mean it's a nice course, and I mean you can't really go $38 to play public golf down a nice course is almost unheard of.
Oh yeah, it's like Municipal right now is like $45. Even a student discount there is only like $5.
I've never played Centennial. I think the only, I mean, I've played Three Ridges, I've played Island Point, I've played Iguani. I think Iguani is probably the nicest, but it's also kind of out of the way. I mean, it's all the way kind of down going toward Maryville.
Yeah, we Lambert's out there too. I love Lambert.
Lambert Acres is, I've never played there, but I've heard it's nice.
It's awesome. I took a trip down to we went to Hilton Head like probably middle of the summer. It was like June. And we played some courses out there. Super nice, but super expensive.
You remember which ones you played out there? I played a pretty good amount of golf out there.
Played Oyster Reef.
I've played there, I think.
Yeah, that's the. I only played one course. It was like $100 a tee time.
Yeah, I've played there in Hilton Head, Atlantic Dunes, which is at Sea Ponds, like the Sea Ponds Resort, and then Shipyard Golf Club is another one my dad and I used to play a lot.
Yeah. They have that, like the Paris Island has a golf course out there too that's apparently super nice.
They have a ton, like for the size of Hilton Head. I mean, I think they have like 30 courses or something on the island. It's
South Carolina.
crazy.
South Carolina is the golf. It's like the most golf dense state.
Myrtle Beach, I think, has the most courses per capita of anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we'll continue the conversation on the other side. We'll wrap it up with some final thoughts for some sports that'll be taking place this weekend. Stick with us. Overtime.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Golf Envy Farragut is the premier indoor golf experience you've been looking for. And right now they are offering a limited number of founding memberships. Golfers can reserve their spot for just $150 before their September grand opening. Founding members receive 90 days of unlimited guest passes, as well as an exclusive risk-free first month. That's right. Try out Golf Envy with no obligation. Give it 30 days, and if it's not the right fit for what you're looking for, your first month's dues will be refunded. Members will get access to their Golf Zone 2 Vision NX simulator technology, the most realistic simulator on the market, where they can play more than 300 courses and compete in leagues and tournaments with players all across the country. Golf, rain or shine, 24/7, 365. To learn more and become a founding member, visit their website at farragut.golfenvy.com/presale.
Is your crawl space damp, musty, or showing signs of mold? Call S&D Crawl Space and Insulation. From crawl space encapsulation and mold remediation to waterproofing, insulation, and dehumidifiers, S&D helps protect your home from moisture and poor air quality. Serving Knoxville and surrounding areas, call 865-602-0590. That's 865-602-0590. S&D Crawl Space and Insulation, protecting your home from the ground up.
Football season is all about winning game plans, and here at Knoxville Smiles, we believe that your smile deserves an all-star game plan too. Whether it's a routine cleaning, whitening, or restoring your confidence, Knoxville Smiles has the experience to keep your smile in championship form. Don't let dental pain blitz your game plan. Call Knoxville Smiles today and schedule your appointment, because a healthy smile is the ultimate home field advantage. Call 865-539-1776 or schedule online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
I'm here closing it out here on this Thursday evening. We appreciate you hanging out with us for the full 2 hours this evening. However you did so, we appreciate it. Looking at the YouTube chat, Phil Cooper says DGG 8 p.m. Kenneth Simon and Keyshawn Bowman also. And we highlighted that in hour one. That's going to be a fun game tonight if you're into high school football, as Baylor School will play host tonight to Brentwood Academy. Obviously, George McIntyre is an alumni of Brentwood Academy. Lots of guys, that have come through Brentwood and the Baylor School that play college football, college baseball, college basketball, whatever it may be. Heck, Spain was on campus at the Baylor School for the World Cup this summer. So, obviously, two big private schools in the state of Tennessee. not just in the state, but really Southeast and in the country. So should be a fun game tonight on national television, and definitely excited to tune in to see what DGG looks like, and Kenneth Simon and Keyshawn Bowman. So should be interesting to keep up with that. Caleb, any sports that got your eye this weekend? Obviously, we got UFC Sacramento. I'm sure you'll be at least tuned into the main event for that Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll be watching. I kind of usually I only watch the numbered cards, and if I got time, I'll throw on the Contender Series. But yeah, we've had a bit of a drought lately of good fights. So hopefully we get some good ones. We had the Ian Gary and Islam fight. It's probably the only good fight that we've had in probably a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah, you just stack so many, like you and I were talking about. They stacked so many for the White House card and for the Holloway McGregor fight. I mean, You used Benoit Saint Denis, you used Patty, you used Diego Lopez, you used Holloway, you used Connor, you used Gaethje, Ilia Topuria. Who else fought on that?
Derek
Lewis, Curtis Blades. Like, you used so many people in the last 2 months that are like normally highlight names. Sean O'Malley, yeah. So I think once we get to like obviously the Volk one, whatever that was, 333, and
the
then
333 card is
really
legit.
good. The Noche card's good too.
The Van is the next numbered card. That's probably the next fight that I'm like actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
And then obviously Merab fights on 333. Merab and Peter Yan fight on the Volk card.
There's there's some good sports on this weekend too. You're getting closer to the MLB postseason race. NFL preseason continues. There's 2 games tonight. One already kicked. And then I believe the Niners are at 10, or maybe it's the Raiders. Either the Niners or the Raiders are the 10 p.m. game tonight. You have baseball, the golf playoffs. Do you watch golf at all on television?
Like PGA,
like the PGA, yeah.
Is
the BMW Championships this week. So Scotty won last week by like 8 shots.
Yeah, for the first time in forever.
Scotty did not have a good round today, though. He shot 2 over, and he was 4 over when he made the turn, or 3 over when he made the turn. He's 4 over through 7. I was watching that before I came here. He did not have a clue where his golf ball was going on the front 9, but he'll probably still find a way to win the tournament, even though he's 8 back after the first round. Rory had a good round. He shot 64. He's tied for first after the round with Wyndham Clark, Goddard, JJ Spawn, and Woodland. Always good to see Woodland playing well after everything that he's gone through in the last couple of years.
Well, we got the Little League World Series going on too, don't we?
Yeah, I think I'm past the age though where I can watch the Little League World Series, man.
I don't think I ever watched the Little League World Series.
I did see some kid hit a walk-off home run though last night for the New Jersey team, and this kid had one of the smoothest baseball swings I've ever seen. Hit a walk-off home run to dead center and like pimp stepped it and went around the bases. And then all these people that are losers, absolute losers on Twitter were saying that this kid did the throat slash as he went around third base. He did like the Superman, like open up your jersey thing. And all these,
like what, 12?
Yeah, the kid's like 12 years old. The kid probably doesn't even know what the throat slash thing is. Like, get out of your mom's basement on your Twitter account. Go enjoy life, and don't be saying that a 12-year-old committed violence on a. Who cares? Let the kid celebrate.
He's 12.
I can't stand when people do stuff like that on Twitter. They just get mad at everything.
I think so. I think there's some people there. I don't think that definitely is. That's just their career, just to air out everything about everything that they see on Twitter that they don't 100% probably agree with.
Well, this is our last weekend without college football until like mid-January.
It's the last show without college football, without it being college football week.
That is true. Yeah. Next week it will be here. Week 0.
Do some game previews.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. We can talk about all the games. Memphis, UNLV, Jack State, North Dakota State, North Carolina, TCU, Virginia and NC State, Eastern Michigan, Sac State.
We can do some betting segments on at the Smokies game. We talked extensively about that. So.
I have some plays that I already like for week 1 that we can talk about, but about week 0 that we can talk about week 1 too, but we got to get through week 0 first.
I put in some. I don't normally ever do preseason bets like win totals or anything like that, but I did some of those this year.
Really?
Yeah, I did I took Houston under 8.5 wins. Even though I'm high on Houston, I think their schedule is really hard.
Yeah.
I took Kansas State over 7.5 wins, then Louisville over 8. Louisville over under 8.5 wins. Anybody listening that has a betting account, go put every extra dollar you have on Louisville over 8.5 wins.
Better beat Ole Miss week 1. Well, I mean, not necessarily. They could easily go 9-3 losing the first game.
They could lose to Ole Miss week 1, and I think they still have a real shot to go 11-1.
No, they do. But if they beat Ole Miss week 1, you're way ahead of schedule.
Oh, yeah. That's the hardest game on their schedule outside of Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. Next week, we'll be back again for overtime. I believe we're going on our 4th week of overtime next week. And Alex Sarkis, if you've ever listened, the playbook with when William, Brett, me, and Alex, we were on the playbook, I guess, in the spring we all did it together. Alex will be joining us next week for overtime. So we'll have 3 guys doing it now. It'll be me, Caleb, and Alex for the rest of the season. So it'll be excited to get him on camera and in the production room. He really is a good ball knower about college sports. He works on campus with some of the stuff, so he's pretty close-knit to everything going on there. So he'll be another really good person to have on overtime with us starting next week. Excited for that. Until then, have a good weekend, and we're out.